A man returned home from another country as a wealthy man after 9 long years away. He came back for one reason only: to find the woman he had loved and left behind. But when he arrived, they told him she was dead. They showed him a grave. They told him to move on. And he almost believed them. Almost. Because something did not feel right. Stay with us as this emotional story unfolds slowly, piece by piece, until the truth finally comes to light. Dear lovely viewers, if you enjoy heartfelt stories like this one, please support this channel by subscribing and turning on the notification bell so you never miss a new story. Now, let us begin. The airplane touched down in the city of Atlanta on a warm afternoon. Among the many passengers who stepped out was a tall man in a fine gray coat. His name was Obinna Ease. He was 36 years old, calm and well-dressed. He carried the quiet confidence of a man who had worked hard and succeeded. 9 years earlier, Obinna had left this same city with almost nothing. Back then, he had been a struggling young man with big dreams and empty pockets. He had traveled to London to chase a better life. And through years of hard work, long nights, and many failures, he had built something real. Today, he owned a construction and property company. He had money, respect, and success. Everything he had once dreamed of. But none of that was the reason he had come home. Obinna had come home for a woman. Her name was Adaora. 9 years ago, before he left, Obinna and Adaora had loved each other deeply. They had planned a future together. But Obinna had been poor then, and he did not want to marry her with empty hands. So he made a promise. He would go abroad, build a life, and come back for her. He asked her to wait. "I will return," he had told her, holding both her hands. "No matter how long it takes, wait for me. I will wait," she had said, "for as long as it takes." For the first 2 years, they had spoken often. But then, slowly, the calls stopped. Her number went silent. His letters came back unanswered. Obinna had been so buried in his work, so focused on building the future he had promised her, that by the time he lifted his head and reached out again, she was already gone from every line he tried. He had told himself she was busy. He had told himself he would explain everything when he returned. And through all those years, no matter how much time passed, no matter how many people crossed his path, Obinna never stopped loving Adaora. Her face was the reason he worked so hard. Her memory was the promise he intended to keep. Now, at last, he was home. And the first thing he intended to do was find her. Obinna checked into a hotel, dropped his bags, and went straight to the old neighborhood where Adora's family had lived. It was a quiet suburb of neat houses and wide streets. As he walked toward the familiar home, his heart beat faster with each step. He rehearsed the words in his mind. He imagined the look on her face. He wondered if she had waited, or if she had married someone else. Either way, he needed to see her. He needed to explain. He reached the house. It looked different, freshly painted, with a new car in the driveway. He walked up and knocked. The door opened, and a woman stood there. She was in her late 30s, well-dressed, with sharp eyes that studied him quickly. Obinna recognized her at once. It was Nkechi, Adora's older cousin. She had always lived with the family, though she and Adaora had never been close. "Nkechi," Obinna said, smiling. "It is me, Obinna Ease. Do you remember me?" For a moment, Nkechi's face went completely still. Her eyes widened. The color drained from her cheeks, as though she had seen a ghost. "Obinna," she said slowly. You are back." "Yes," he said warmly. "I came back, just as I promised. I am looking for Adaora. Is she here? Please, I need to see her." At the mention of that name, something crossed Nkeshi's face, a flicker of fear, quickly hidden. She looked away for a second, then back at him. And when she spoke again, her voice had changed. It was low and careful. "Obinna," she said, "you should come in and sit down. There is something you need to know." A cold feeling settled in Obinna's chest. He did not like the way she said it. He stepped inside. The house looked wealthy now, far finer than he remembered. Nice furniture, expensive things. He sat down slowly. "Where is Adaora?" he asked again. Nkechi sat across from him. She folded her hands in her lap and lowered her eyes, as if gathering the strength to say something painful. "Obina," she said quietly, "Adaora is gone." Obina frowned. "Gone? Gone where? Did she move? Did she travel? Just tell me where she is, and I will go to her." Kechi shook her head slowly. She raised her eyes, and they were filled with what looked like sorrow. "No, Obina," she said, "you do not understand. Adaora is dead. She died 3 years ago. There was a car accident. We lost her." The words hit Obina like a physical blow. For a moment, he could not breathe. He stared at Nkechi, waiting for her to say it was a mistake, a cruel joke, anything. "No," he said. "No, that is not possible. Adaora? Dead? I am so sorry," Kechi said softly. "I know how much you loved her." We all took it very hard. It was sudden. It was terrible. She reached out as if to comfort him. "She is buried not far from here. I can show you the grave, if it will help you find peace." Obina sat frozen, his whole world crumbling around him. The woman he had crossed an ocean to find. The woman whose face had carried him through 9 years of struggle. The promise he had kept, only to arrive too late. Tears filled his eyes, and he lowered his head into his hands. "I was too late," he whispered. "I was too late." Nkechi watched him from across the room, and though her face wore a mask of sadness, something else moved quietly behind her eyes. Something cold, something that did not match her tears. For Nkechi was not telling the truth, and the grave she had offered to show him held a secret far darker than a car accident. The next morning, Nkechi took Obina to see the grave. They drove in silence to a quiet cemetery on the edge of the city. The grass was green, and rows of headstones stretched under the tall trees. Nkechi led him along a narrow path until she stopped before a simple gray headstone. Obina stepped forward slowly. His legs felt heavy. His eyes moved to the words carved into the stone. He read the name, Adaora Nwachukwu, and below it, 2 dates, the day she was born and the day she supposedly died. Obina knelt down before the grave. The tears came again, hot and silent. He placed his hand on the cold stone. "Adaora," he whispered, "I am so sorry. I should have come sooner. I should never have let so much time pass. I kept my promise, but I kept it too late." Nkechi stood a few steps behind him, her hands folded, her face solemn. She said nothing. She simply watched. Obina stayed there for a long time, grieving the woman he had loved. But even in the middle of his sorrow, a small and strange feeling began to stir in the back of his mind. Something did not sit right. He could not name it. It was just a quiet, uncomfortable feeling, like a single wrong note in a song. He looked at the headstone again. He read the dates once more, and he frowned slightly. The date of birth was wrong. It was close, off by only a little. But Obina remembered Adaora's birthday clearly. He had celebrated it with her many times. He knew the day, the month, the year, and the date carved on this stone was not it. It was a different day entirely. He told himself it was nothing. Grief plays tricks on the mind. Perhaps he was misremembering. Perhaps he had the date wrong after all these years. But the feeling did not go away. It stayed, small and stubborn, buried beneath his sorrow. "We should go," Kechi said gently. "You have paid your respects. Do not torture yourself, Obina. She would not want you to suffer." Obina rose slowly to his feet. He wiped his eyes. But as he turned to leave, he took one last look at the grave, and that quiet, uncomfortable feeling followed him all the way back to the car. Over the next few days, Obina tried to accept it. He told himself the woman he loved was gone, and that he had to find a way to move on. But he could not. His heart refused to let go, and that small wrong feeling only grew stronger. He began to notice other things. When he asked Nkechi about the accident, her answers were vague. She said it had happened on a highway, but she could not remember which one. She said friends had been there, but she could not name a single one. She grew uncomfortable whenever he asked questions, and she always found a way to change the subject. He also noticed the house. The last time he had seen this family, they had been comfortable but not rich. Now the house was full of expensive things. Nkechi drove a fine new car. She wore fine clothes. and she was living in Adora's family home, in Adora's family's things, as though it had all become hers. Nkechi, Obena asked one afternoon, "Who owns this house now?" It was Adora's parents' home. After they passed, it should have gone to Adaora, since she was their only child. For just a second, Nkechi stiffened. "It came to me," she said quickly. "After Adaora died, there was no one else. As family, I inherited everything. The house, and what money was left. I see," Obena said quietly. But inside, that quiet feeling grew louder, because now the picture was becoming strange. Adaora, the only child, the true heir, was suddenly dead, and her cousin, who had always lived in her shadow, now owned everything. The house, the money, the whole inheritance. Obena was not a foolish man. Years in business had taught him to notice when things did not add up, and nothing about this was adding up. That evening, Obena decided to visit an old neighbor he remembered from years ago, an elderly woman named Mama Ngozi, who had lived on that street for as long as anyone could recall. She had known Adora's family well. If anyone could tell him the truth, it would be her. He found her house easily. It was the same small home, a little older now, with flowers growing by the door. He knocked, and after a moment, the door opened. Mama Ngozi stood there, gray-haired and stooped, but with clear, sharp eyes. She squinted at him. "Yes?" she said. "Who is this?" "Mama Ngozi," Obana said gently. "It is me, Obana Ease. I used to live in this neighborhood years ago. I was in love with Adaora, the daughter of the Nwachukwu family. Do you remember me?" The old woman's eyes widened slowly. She stared at him for a long moment. And then, to his surprise, her whole body seemed to tense. "Obena," she whispered. "The young man who went abroad." She looked left, then right, down the quiet street, as if checking that no one was listening. Then she stepped back. "Come inside. Quickly. Come inside." Obena followed her in, confused. She shut the door behind him and turned to face him, her old hands trembling slightly. "You came back," she said. "After all these years, you finally came back. Have you seen her? Have you found her?" Obena's heart stopped. "Found her?" he said slowly. "Mama, what do you mean? Adaora is dead," Nkechi told me. She showed me the grave. The old woman's face twisted. Anger and sorrow moved across it together. She shook her head fiercely. "Dead," she said. "Is that what that wicked woman told you? That Adaora is dead?" She let out a bitter breath. "My son, Adaora is not dead. That is a lie. A wicked, evil lie." Obana felt the floor shift beneath him. He grabbed the back of a chair to steady himself. "What?" he breathed. "What did you say?" "Adaora is alive," Mama Ngozi said, tears filling her old eyes. "She is alive, Obana. But what they did to her, what that cousin of hers did to her, it is a terrible thing. A terrible, terrible thing." Obena's heart was pounding so hard he could barely hear his own voice. "Mama," he said, gripping the chair. "Please, tell me everything. Where is she? What happened? Please, tell me the truth." The old woman lowered herself slowly into a chair. She wiped her eyes, and then she began to speak. Mama Ngozi sat in silence for a moment, gathering the heavy memories. Then she began. "After you left for abroad," she said, "things went well for a while. Adaora waited for you, my son. She truly did. But then tragedy came. Her parents fell sick, one after the other, and within 2 years they were both gone." Obena closed his eyes. "I did not know," he whispered. "I did not know her parents had passed. How could you know?" the old woman said gently. "You were far away, and by then the calls had stopped. But listen to me, because this is where the evil began." She leaned forward. "When Adora's parents died, they left everything to her. She was their only child. The house, their savings, everything. It was a good inheritance, enough to give a young woman a solid start in life." "The inheritance," Obena said quietly. "Yes, Nkechi is living in the house now. She told me it came to her." Mama Ngozi's face darkened. "That is the lie. That is the wickedness," she shook her head. "Nkechi had always been jealous of Adaora. Always, when they were girls, Adaora had the loving parents, the bright future, the young man abroad who promised to return. Nkechi had none of that. And when the inheritance came to Adaora and not to her, that jealousy turned into something dark. Obina's hands tightened. What did she do? She schemed, the old woman said. Quietly, patiently, Nkechi could not stand to see Adaora have everything. So she made a plan. She got hold of the papers she needed. And with the help of a dishonest man she paid, she created a false document, a death certificate, a forged paper that declared Adaora dead in a car accident. Obina stared at her, horror rising in his chest. A forged death certificate, he repeated. Yes, Mama Ngozi said. With that false paper, Nkechi claimed that Adaora had died, and that she, as the closest living family, should inherit everything. She took the house. She took the money. She erased Adaora, on paper, from the world. But Adaora was alive, Obina said. She was still there. How could Nkechi do this while Adaora was standing right in front of her, the old woman's eyes filled with tears? Because she threatened her, my son. When Adaora discovered what Nkechi had done, she wanted to fight it. She wanted to go to the authorities. But Nkechi was cruel. She told Adaora that if she made trouble, terrible things would happen to her. Adaora was young, alone, grieving her parents, with no money and no one to protect her. And Nkechi had powerful, dishonest friends. Adaora was frightened. She had no way to fight. Mama Ngozi wiped her cheeks. So Adaora did the only thing she could. She ran. She left this neighborhood with nothing but a bag of clothes to save her own life. And Nkechi told everyone she had died. On paper, in the eyes of the law, Adaora Nwachukwu no longer existed. She became a dead woman walking through the world, with no name, no inheritance, and no way to prove who she was. Obina sat in stunned silence, the full weight of the evil settling on him. The woman he loved was not dead. She was alive, but she had been robbed of everything. Her home, her family's money, even her own name. And all of it because of one cousin's jealous heart. Where is she now? Obina asked, his voice shaking. Mama, please, do you know where she is? The old woman nodded slowly. For a long time, I did not know. She disappeared, and I feared the worst. But a few months ago, my granddaughter saw her, by chance. Across the city, on the far side of town, in a poor working neighborhood, she paused. Adaora is alive, Obina. She is working. My granddaughter said she is working in a laundromat, a place where people bring their clothes to wash. She works there, quietly, under a hard life, hiding from the world. Obina was already rising to his feet. Where? He asked. Which laundromat? Where is it? I have to go to her, right now. Sit, sit, Mama Ngozi said, holding up her hand. I will tell you what I know, but listen to me first, my son. Her voice grew serious. You must be careful. Nkechi is dangerous. If she learns that you know the truth, if she learns that Adaora is found, there is no telling what she will do. She has too much to lose. That house, that money, her whole life is built on this lie. Do not let her know what you have discovered. Not yet. Play along. Let her believe you accept that Adaora is dead, and find Adaora quietly before Nkechi ever suspects. Obina nodded slowly. The businessman in him understood. This was a battle, and he could not win it by rushing in. He needed proof. He needed to protect Adaora, and he needed to catch Nkechi in her own web. You are right, Mama, he said. I will be careful. But please, tell me where this laundromat is. I have to see her with my own eyes. I have to know she is truly alive. Mama Ngozi told him the name of the neighborhood and the street she remembered on the far side of the city. Obina wrote it down with trembling hands. Thank you, Mama, he said, tears in his eyes. Thank you. You have given me back the most precious thing in my life. Go, she said softly, patting his hand. Go and find her, and bring justice to that poor girl. She has suffered enough. Obina left the old woman's house and drove across the city as the afternoon faded into evening. His mind was racing. His heart was pounding. Could it be true? Could Adaora really be alive after all? He had knelt at her grave. He had grieved her, And now he was being told that she was living, breathing, working in a laundromat on the other side of town. He drove for nearly an hour, following Mama Ngozi's directions, until the neat suburbs gave way to older, poorer streets, small shops, worn buildings. And there, at last, on a quiet corner, he saw it. A small laundromat, its windows glowing with warm light against the darkening sky. A faded sign hung above the door. Rows of washing machines could be seen through the glass. Obena parked across the street. His hands were shaking. He did not go in right away. He simply sat, staring at the glowing windows, his heart in his throat. What if it was not her? What if Mama Ngozi was mistaken? What if he had let himself hope, only to have that hope crushed again? He looked at the clock on his dashboard. It read 6:19 in the evening, and then, through the laundromat window, he heard something, faint, muffled by the glass in the street. But he heard it. A laugh. A soft, warm laugh, rising above the hum of the machines as someone inside shared a joke with a customer. Obena froze. He knew that laugh. He would know that laugh anywhere. He had fallen in love with that laugh 9 years ago. It had lived in his memory through every long night abroad. It was her. It was Adaora. Slowly, with his heart hammering in his chest, Obena opened the car door and stepped out into the evening. And he began to walk toward the glowing window, toward the sound of the woman he had crossed an ocean and grieved at a grave to find. Obena crossed the quiet street slowly, his eyes fixed on the glowing window. Through the glass, he could see the inside of the laundromat now. Rows of washing machines, a few customers folding clothes. And behind the counter, a woman. She wore a plain uniform. Her hair was tied back simply. She looked tired, and her clothes were worn, and life had clearly been hard on her. But her face was the same face he had held in his heart for 9 years. It was Adaora. Obena stood at the door, unable to move for a moment. His hand trembled as he reached for the handle. Then he pushed the door open, and a small bell rang above him. Adaora looked up from the counter, ready to greet another customer. "Good evening. Welcome," she began. And then her eyes met his. The words died in her throat. Her face went white. The rag in her hand slipped and fell to the floor. She stared at the tall man standing in the doorway, and her lips parted, but no sound came out. "Obena," she finally whispered. It was barely a breath. "Adaora," he said, his voice breaking. For a long moment, neither of them moved. 9 years stood between them, and an ocean, and a lie about a grave. They simply stared at each other, two people who had each believed, in different ways, that they had lost the other forever. Then Adora's eyes filled with tears. "It cannot be," she said, her voice shaking. "It cannot be you. You are really here?" "It is me," Obena said, stepping forward. "It is really me. I came back, Adaora. I kept my promise. I came back for you." A sob broke from her chest. She pressed her hand to her mouth. The few customers in the laundromat looked over, sensing that something important was happening. But neither Obena nor Adaora noticed them. "They told me you were dead," Obena said, his own tears falling now. "Nkechi told me you died in a car accident 3 years ago. She took me to a grave. I knelt there. I grieved you. I thought I had lost you forever." His voice cracked. "And all this time, you were here. You were alive. At the sound of Neki's name, Adora's face changed. The joy and shock mixed with something older and deeper. Pain, fear, the long weight of everything she had carried alone. "You know," she said quietly. "You know what she did." "I know," Obena said gently. "Mama Ngozi told me everything. The forged death certificate, the stolen inheritance, the threats, how she erased your name and drove you into hiding." He shook his head, and anger burned beneath his sorrow. "I know what your own cousin did to you, Adaora, and I promise you, she will answer for it." Adaora came out slowly from behind the counter. Her legs were unsteady. And when she reached him, she looked up into his face, searching it, as if she still could not believe he was real. "I waited for you," she said, tears streaming down her cheeks. "For years, I waited. I told myself you would come back one day. But then the calls stopped, and my parents died, and Kechi took everything, and I thought maybe you had forgotten me. I thought maybe you had built a new life over there and left me behind." "Never," Obena said fiercely. "Never for a single day. Everything I built for you. Every hard night, every struggle," I told myself. "This is so I can go home and marry Adaora. Your face was the reason I never gave up. I could not reach you, and I did not know why, but I never stopped loving you. Not for one moment." Adaora broke down then, and Obena gently took her hands in his. She did not pull away. She held on tightly, as if he might vanish if she let go. "Tell me," Obena said softly. "Tell me what happened. All of it. I want to hear it from you." Adaora wiped her tears and took a shaking breath. The last customers quietly finished their folding and slipped out, leaving the two of them alone in the humming laundromat. "After my parents passed," she began, "I was alone. But I had the house and what they left me. It was not a fortune, but it was enough. $318,000 and the family home. I planned to use it carefully, to build a future, and to wait for you." She lowered her eyes. "But Nkechi, my own cousin, she had always been jealous of me, ever since we were children. I never understood why, and when the inheritance came to me, something in her broke. She could not bear that I had it, and she did not." Her voice trembled. "I did not see it coming. She was smiling to my face the whole time. And then one day, men came to the house with papers, legal papers. They said I had no claim to anything. They showed me a death certificate, Obena, my own death certificate, with my name on it, saying I had died in a car accident." She shook her head, still in disbelief after all these years. Nkechi had forged it. On paper, I was dead, and a dead woman cannot own a house. A dead woman cannot claim an inheritance. A dead woman does not exist. Obena's jaw tightened. "And when you tried to fight it?" "She threatened me," Adaora whispered. "She told me that if I went to anyone, if I tried to prove I was alive, she had people who would make sure I truly disappeared. I was 24, Obena, alone, grieving. No money, because she had taken it all. No parents, no you. I was terrified." A tear rolled down her cheek. "So I ran. I left with one bag. I moved to the other side of the city where no one knew me. I took whatever work I could find, just to survive. And for years, I have been here, washing other people's clothes, living quietly, afraid that if I raised my head too high, she would find me." She looked up at him, and her voice grew soft and broken. "I lost everything, Obena. My parents, my home, my money, my name, even my own life, on paper. All I had left was the small hope that maybe, one day, you would come back. And I had almost given up on even that." Obena could not hold back any longer. He pulled her gently into his arms, and she wept against his chest, releasing years of fear and loneliness and grief. He held her tightly, his own tears falling into her hair. "Listen to me," he said quietly, his voice steady now with resolve. "That is over. Do you hear me? It is over. You are not alone anymore. I am here, and I am not poor and helpless like I was 9 years ago. I have money now. I have resources. I have lawyers. And I am going to use every bit of it to give you back everything that woman stole from you." Adaora pulled back and looked at him, hope and fear mixing in her eyes. "Obena, you do not understand how dangerous she is. She has friends. She has, and I have the truth," Obena said firmly. "You are alive, Adaora. You are standing right here, breathing, living proof that her whole lie is false. A forged death certificate cannot stand against a living woman and a good lawyer. We are going to expose her. We are going to prove who you are. And we are going to take back your name, your home, and everything she stole." He took her hands again. "But we must be careful. She cannot know yet. Not until we are ready. When we move all at once, and we make sure she cannot escape it." Adaora looked into his eyes, and for the first time in years, the fear in her chest loosened just a little. She was not alone anymore. "All right," she said softly. "I trust you, Obena. I have always trusted you. He smiled gently and wiped a tear from her cheek. "Then let us bring the truth into the light," he said, "and let us give that jealous woman the reckoning she has earned." In the days that followed, Obina moved carefully and quietly, like a man who understood that one wrong step could ruin everything. He hired the best lawyer he could find in the city, a sharp and serious woman named Ngozi Okafor, who had handled many difficult cases. He sat with her and laid out the whole story: the forged death certificate, the stolen inheritance, the living woman who had been declared dead by her own cousin. The lawyer listened carefully, taking notes. When Obina finished, she leaned back and folded her hands. "This is a serious matter," she said. "Forging a death certificate is a crime. Using it to steal property and money is another crime. If everything you say is true, your Adaora has a very strong case. But we must build it correctly. We cannot simply walk in and make accusations. We need proof. Solid, undeniable proof." "What do we need?" Obina asked. "First," the lawyer said, "we need to prove that Adaora is alive and that she is truly Adaora Nwachukwu. That part is easy, because she is a living person who can be identified. Second, we need to get a copy of this death certificate that Nkechi used. If it is forged, there will be signs. A real death certificate is issued by the proper authorities and recorded in their system. A forged one will not match the official records. That mismatch is how we catch her." Obina nodded slowly. "So we compare her fake paper to the real records." "Exactly," the lawyer said. "If Nkechi created this document herself, or paid someone to create it, then the signatures, the stamps, the registration numbers will not match what the real office has on file. The forgery will expose itself the moment we hold it up against the truth." Over the next 2 weeks, the lawyer went to work. Quietly, without drawing attention, she requested the official records. She pulled the copy of the death certificate that Nkechi had filed to claim the inheritance, and she requested the records from the authority that supposedly issued it. When the documents came back, the lawyer spread them out on her desk and studied them side by side, and a slow smile crossed her face. "We have her," she said. Obina leaned forward. "What did you find?" The lawyer pointed to the certificate Nkechi had filed. "This document claims Adaora died in a car accident. It carries a registration number and an official signature. But look here," she pointed to the real records. "The registration number on Nkechi's certificate does not exist in the official system. There is no record of it. And this signature, from the official who supposedly signed it, does not match the real signature of that office. It is a forgery, Obina. A clear and provable forgery." She tapped the papers. "And there is more. The date of birth listed on this fake certificate is wrong. It does not match Adora's true date of birth on her real birth records." Obina's heart jumped. The wrong date of birth. The very thing he had noticed on the headstone that first day at the cemetery. The small wrong note that had told him something was not right. "I saw that," he said quietly, "at the grave. The date was wrong. I knew Adora's real birthday, and the date on the stone did not match. I told myself I was misremembering, but I was right all along." "You were right," the lawyer said. Nkechi was careless. When she forged the certificate, she got the date of birth wrong. Perhaps she never knew it exactly. That single mistake, along with the false registration number and the forged signature, is enough to prove the whole thing is fake. And once we prove the death certificate is false, everything Nkechi claimed with it falls apart. The inheritance, the house, all of it was taken through fraud. Obina sat back, a fierce satisfaction filling his chest. The trap was set. The proof was solid. Now it was only a matter of springing it. But there was still one thing that troubled him. "Nkechi did not do this alone," he said. "Mama Ngozi said she paid a dishonest man to help her forge the papers, and she used threats to keep Adaora silent. This woman is dangerous. When she realizes she is caught, she may try to run or hide her money or hurt Adaora." The lawyer nodded. "You are right to think ahead. That is why we will not warn her. We will prepare everything first. We will file the case, alert the proper authorities, and only then confront her, all at once, so she has no time to escape or destroy evidence." She looked at him seriously. "In the meantime, Adaora must stay safe and stay hidden. Nkechi must not learn that she has been found." For the next few days, Obina kept up the difficult act. He visited Nkechi again at the house, pretending still to be the grieving man who believed his love was dead. It took everything in him to sit across from her, to look at her false, sorrowful face, and not show the anger burning inside him. "You should stay in the city for a while," Kechi told him during one visit, smiling warmly. "Now that you are back and successful, there is no reason to rush off. Perhaps you could settle here again. Start fresh." Obina almost laughed at her boldness. She had stolen her cousin's life, buried a lie in a grave, and now she sat there smiling, hoping to keep him close, perhaps even hoping the wealthy returning man might one day be useful to her. "Perhaps I will," Obina said calmly, hiding his true feelings. "I am still deciding what to do." "Take your time," Kechi said sweetly. "This is your home too." "Your home," Obina thought bitterly. "This is not your home, Kechi. This is Adora's home, and soon everyone will know it." Finally, the day came when everything was ready. The lawyer had filed the case. The proof was gathered and secured. The proper authorities had been informed and were prepared to act. And Adaora, though frightened, was ready to step out of the shadows at last and reclaim her name. "Are you sure?" Obina asked her gently the night before. "You have lived in hiding for so long. Once we do this, there is no turning back. Kechi will know. Everyone will know. Are you ready?" Adaora took a deep breath. For years she had been afraid. For years she had made herself small, invisible, silent. But now she had the truth on her side, and she had Obina beside her, and she had a good lawyer holding solid proof. "I am ready," she said quietly. "I have been dead long enough, Obina. It is time for me to be alive again." Obina took her hand and squeezed it gently. "Then tomorrow," he said, "we bring the truth into the light, and we give you back your life." The next morning, Nekishi sat comfortably in the fine living room of the house she had stolen, sipping her tea, when there was a knock at the door. She rose and opened it, expecting an ordinary visitor. Instead, she found Obina standing there. But this was not the grieving, gentle Obina she had grown used to. His face was calm and hard, and his eyes were cold. "Obina," she said, forcing a smile, "you are early. Come in. I will come in," Obina said quietly. "But I am not alone." He stepped aside. And behind him stood a lawyer in a sharp suit, holding a folder of documents. Beside the lawyer stood two officials from the proper authorities. And then, from behind them all, one more person stepped forward into view. Adaora. Kechi's teacup slipped from her hand and shattered on the floor. Her face went white as chalk. She stared at the woman standing before her, the cousin she had declared dead, the woman she had erased from the world. Adaora stood tall and calm, no longer hiding, no longer afraid. "No," Kechi breathed. "No, this is not possible." "Hello, Kechi," Adaora said quietly. "As you can see, I am not dead after all." Kechi stumbled backward, her hand at her chest. You were supposed to be," she caught herself, but it was too late. The words had already begun to fall from her mouth. "Supposed to be dead?" the lawyer said, stepping forward. "Yes, because you declared her dead. With this," she opened the folder and held up the forged death certificate. "This document, which you filed to claim the inheritance of Adaora Nwachukwu. A death certificate stating that she died in a car accident." And Kechi's mouth opened and closed. "Aye, that is a real document. It is official. She did die. This woman is an imposter." "Do not embarrass yourself further," the lawyer said coldly. She laid the papers out for all to see. "This certificate is a forgery. The registration number on it does not exist in the official records. We checked. There is no such record anywhere in the system. The signature of the issuing official is false. It does not match the true signature on file. And the date of birth written on this certificate does not even match Adora's real birth records. Every part of this document is a lie." She turned to the officials. "This is proof of a forged death certificate used to commit fraud and steal an inheritance of over $300,000 along with this house." And Kechi's legs began to shake. She looked around at the faces surrounding her. The lawyer, the officials, Obina, cold and silent, and Adaora, alive and standing tall, the living proof that destroyed her entire lie. "Adaora!" Keiichi said suddenly, her voice turning desperate. "Cousin, please. We are family. Whatever I did because I was struggling. You do not understand how hard my life was. Please, we can talk about this. We can share. There is enough for both of us." Adaora looked at her cousin for a long moment. And when she spoke, her voice was quiet, but it carried the weight of everything she had suffered. "Share?" she said. "Nkechi, you did not want to share. You wanted to erase me. You forged my death. You stole everything my parents left me. You threatened me until I ran from my own home and lived in fear for years. I washed strangers' clothes to survive while you sat in my family's house, drinking tea, wearing fine clothes, living my stolen life." She shook her head slowly. "You did not do this because you were struggling. You did this because you could not bear to see me have anything. It was jealousy, Nkechi. Nothing more." Nkechi had no answer. The mask had finally fallen, and there was nothing left behind it but a bitter, jealous woman caught in her own web. The officials stepped forward. "Nkechi Nwachukwu," one of them said. "You will need to come with us. There are serious charges to answer for. Forgery of an official document, fraud, theft of property and inheritance, and making criminal threats." Nkechi began to cry, but they were not tears of sorrow for what she had done. They were tears of a woman who had finally been caught. She was led out of the house that had never truly been hers, leaving behind the stolen life she had built on a lie. In the weeks that followed, the truth was fully restored. With the forgery proven and Nkechi's crimes exposed, the false death certificate was cancelled. Adaora Nwachukwu was legally declared what she had always been, alive. Her name was returned to her. The house was returned to her. And the inheritance her parents had left her, every last dollar that Nkechi had stolen, was recovered and placed back into her hands. Adaora walked into her family home again for the first time in years. She stood in the rooms where she had grown up, where her parents had loved her, where she had once dreamed of a future. She ran her hand along the walls, and she wept. But this time, they were tears of healing, not of pain. Obina stood beside her the whole time, never leaving her side. And a few months later, when the storm had passed and life had grown peaceful again, Obina took Adaora back to the small laundromat where he had found her. They stood together outside the glowing window where he had first heard her laugh. "Why did you bring me here?" Adaora asked, smiling. Obina turned to her, and slowly he went down on one knee. He took out a small ring. "Because this is where I found you again," he said gently. "This is where I heard your laugh through the window and knew you were alive. This is where my whole world came back to me." His eyes shone with emotion. 9 years ago, I made you a promise. I told you I would come back for you. It took me too long, and you suffered because of my delay, and I will spend the rest of my life making that up to you. Adaora, you waited for me through everything, through loss, through fear, through years of hiding. Will you let me spend the rest of my life beside you? Will you marry me?" Adaora, tears streaming down her face, nodded again and again. "Yes," she said. "Yes, Obina, I will marry you." He slipped the ring onto her finger and rose to pull her into his arms. And there, outside the little laundromat where a dead woman had once hidden from the world, two hearts that had been separated by an ocean and a lie were finally, truly joined again. Some months later, they were married in a beautiful ceremony. Mama Ngozi, the old neighbor who had told Obina the truth, sat in the front row, weeping with joy. Adaora wore white and smiled the smile Obina had loved for so long. And this time, there were no lies, no shadows, and no fear. Only love and truth and a future finally free. Dear friends, my wonderful viewers, this story teaches us something we must never forget. Every human being deserves to have their truth respected and their dignity protected. Adaora was robbed of everything: her home, her money, even her own name and existence, all because of one person's jealousy. She was treated as if her life did not matter, as if she could simply be erased for another person's gain. But no lie, no matter how clever, can bury the truth forever. And no person, no matter how humble or how hidden, ever loses their true worth. Jealousy is a poison. It destroyed Nkechi in the end, just as it destroys everyone who lets it grow in their heart. But honesty, patience, and love carried Adaora through her darkest years and brought her back into the light. Let us learn to celebrate the blessings of others instead of envying them. And let us always treat every person, no matter their situation, with the dignity and respect they deserve. Now, I would love to hear from you. If you were in Obina's position, and you discovered that someone had faked the death of the person you loved and stolen everything from them, would you have found it in your heart to show that person any mercy at all? Or do you believe Nkechi deserved every bit of the punishment she received? Share your honest thoughts in the comments below. I would truly love to read them. If this story touched your heart, please do not forget to like this video and share it with your family and friends so they can enjoy it too. If you are new here, please subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell so you never miss another emotional story like this one. Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. Your support means the world to me, and I will see you again very soon in the next story.